Hi everyone, in this video we are going to talk about food storage. So food storage, what you put your dog's food in, supplement containers, and honestly food storage for yourself. Because just looking at the containers that we have here, some of these...
We're by no means experts.
We are not experts. So like...
I just have like a very brief understanding of plastic from some of the projects I've been wanting to do.
So definitely, like research on your own and look all this stuff up. This is by no means exhaustive as far as we are not experts on this. So where I started learning about food storage was from Karen Becker and Rodney when they did a Facebook Live talking about dog food storage. And I know the biggest thing with dog food storage, one of the biggest no-nos is if you have kibble or anything like that, is when you open the bag of kibble, you're letting air in and it oxidizes the fats. Right? And so your kibble goes bad. A good rule of thumb if you feed kibble is buy bags that are small enough that you will use that bag ideally within a week. But most of the time I try to have it completely gone within 2 weeks. 3 weeks is my max. I know from first-hand experience, my dogs will start to turn off a kibble if I get one of those big bags and it's been in the container or even in the bag for over 3 to 4 weeks. My dogs will start like not wanting to eat it, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I started learning about food storage. So a big takeaway with this is if you are feeding a kibble, whatever food storage container you use, it is best to keep the kibble in the bag and put the bag in the container. If you're going to pour the kibble out into the container, which I do, which you'll see one of my things, I do pour the kibble and my food out, into the container, but it is used within a week. I buy smaller bags. My absolute maximum length of time is 2 weeks. Now, here's...
Not all plastic is created equal.
And not all plastic is created equal.
Remotely.
That's what we're going to talk about. And something I didn't know, because I thought I've been very vigilant about, okay, I have all my plastic containers because I don't want, moisture getting in. I don't want critters. I don't want bugs, all, the things, right? So I thought I was very cognizant. And even just tonight doing this video, getting all the props that we have, I didn't even realize that
lots of props over here.
that even my containers that I thought I was being really good with, because I bought human containers, like food that I put my food in is in up there. I'm super stressed about now.
Everybody's probably got these.
Yeah.
See, and they like pop.
They're sealy things. I'm now stressed about it.
It is one of the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah. So put it back. We're not ready.
Oh, sorry. Too early on the props.
So
erase that part.
When you are feeding your dog, even though it is more expensive, I'm going to be blunt there. Buying a smaller bag of food is more expensive than buying the bigger bag, right? So I do feed Honest Kitchens kibble. If I buy the smaller bags, I am paying more to buy the smaller bags than if I bought the big bag. But my dogs do not go through a big bag. It takes them about a month because I don't feed just that kibble. I mix and rotate, right? So it takes them well over a month. And I have had, especially Wally, who's a picky eater, he will turn off of his food. And I have done a bunch of little tests on what he turns off of, and it's always old food that's been sitting. So the big takeaway here, do try to feed your food in whatever container it may be. Try to feed your food within a 2-week period, in my opinion. If you are feeding, and that goes for any commercial, okay? So I rotate, I have dehydrated foods, and I do feed Honest Kitchens kibble. So I have various containers for those things. So let's talk about plastics. Okay, so Jimmy does a little bit with plastics as far as he makes resin molds, and he's been making different resin things, and
also some mold plastic stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't done a lot of it yet, but
going to. Yeah. And so he's been researching a bunch about plastics, and after I initially started learning about just food storage with Karen Becker, and then he started learning about plastics, and I started kind of paying more attention to the containers as well. And so I went and got a bunch of my containers to use for this. So first about plastic, there's codes on the bottom.
Yeah, so every plastic, doesn't matter this, everything, I'm probably not going to pick it up maybe this one. Probably not going to pick it up in the camera, but there's a little triangle.
Kind of. It's just not focusing.
Right there, you can kind of see it's a little triangle. Yeah. There has to be. It's absolutely mandatory on any plastic. Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go.
It's absolutely mandatory on any plastic to have that little triangle that tells you what kind of plastic it is. Sometimes it'll always have the triangle with like that looks like arrows going around the triangle. And it has to at least have the number, and that might be all it has. Most of them have a symbol underneath, like this one is PP, or number 5, which is polypropylene, or polyethylene. Hold on, I have a cheat sheet just so I don't forget. Yeah, polypropylene. Or like pop bottles are number 1, which is polyethylene tetraphthalate or something. I don't remember.
Big word.
Yeah, really big word. PETE is what it's, so it'll either say just 1 inside of the triangle, or it'll say 1 inside the triangle and have PETE underneath of it.
But at absolute minimum, it will have the triangle.
Yeah, they have to, but I think it's some sort of like I don't know what you call it, basically a law that they have to tell you what kind of plastic it is somewhere. It's almost always on the bottom. A lot of times, like your lids and stuff won't have it, but the main container itself will even this that kind of sort of looks like glass, like it doesn't, I don't know, I guess I don't associate this with most plastics, but even it has a triangle down here.
Yep.
This is you never see that. You picked a very bad one.
I know, so I have to throw all those away.
There's one, I do have a little cheat sheet here just because I don't necessarily remember how to say everything.
Here, just so you can Google.
Yeah, you can just Google it.
You can Google,
I have that one saved on my phone, but.
There. Yeah, and it's all the triangles and it tells you what they are. You
can Google it, but you've got 1 is PETE, polyethylene terephthalate, I think is how you say it. Number 2, HDPE or high density polyethylene. That's like the best. That's all your milk jugs and most colored plastics. This is an exception. This is like green, but it's also very see-through, even though it's green. That's kind of an exception, but most of your opaque plastics, your colored plastics, your solid color, like this is white, that's almost always HDPE, and it's like the best. It's the best for what I do too, because it doesn't put off fumes when you melt it and reform it, where most of these others put off some sort of toxic fume, whether it be during the process or after or whatever.
And when he says the best, he means the best for like what we're looking at for dog food storage.
HDPE is considered food grade.
Yes.
The other ones, don't quote me, but I think they actually have to add something to them, like pop bottles. They have to add something to them to make them food grade. Because like pop bottles are 5 pp. All of them are all clear pop bottles are 5, which is polypropylene. And I believe they have to add something like on the inside of them. Don't quote me, but I know that HDPE is naturally always food grade. Like it's just naturally that way. Whether you melt it and reform it into something or the way it comes in a bucket, it's always food grade.
So like when we were looking up food storage, I started looking up restaurant containers and they were all HDPE.
And HDPE, it doesn't really matter for food. Well, I guess it could, but HDPE also is virtually non-stick. Really nothing sticks to it. I use it, I haven't done it much, but I'm going to more and more use it for molds for my resin stuff, because even resin does not stick to it. It's very, very, whatever you call it, stick resistant. I don't know, non-stick. But anyway, that's number 2. So number 2 is what you really want to look for, HDPE. Number 3 is just your PVC, like PVC pipe. You don't see a lot of things that are PVC besides pipe. And things like, there's PVC, like, a lot of truck parts are PVC, things like that. There's low density polyethylene. I don't know a lot about it. That's number 4. I do know that it's very similar properties to high density, but obviously it's low density, and I think that's what makes it not really food grade, is because it's low density. The pores are more open or something along those lines. 5 is PP or polypropylene. That's, like I say, most of your pop bottles. They do some like dishware is that way. Some auto parts are polypropylene. And then the last 2, I don't really know much about. 6, polystyrene, which is basically styrofoam, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, cafeteria trays and stuff like that. And then 7 is literally just a crapshoot.
7 is anything.
7 can be anything from anything. It can be scrap.
So it could literally just be scrap put together.
This is 7. This clear part is 7.
And I have these.
Yeah.
I bought this. This is a dog supplement I have in here.
It could have been chemical stuff. It could have been anything.
And I have a whole set of these that has my flour, my sugar, my white sugar, my brown sugar, my powdered sugar, my flour. My coffee is all in this, and I'm very upset about that.
I know there's a lot of places that use 7. They do, because there is an industry for like plastic, like lumber, like to build things out of. It's usually 7.
Because it's just
a lot of your
together.
There is a lot of car parts that are 7, like truck, like headlights and stuff. There's a lot of 7 in that.
So it's just mixed.
But you don't see it very often.
It's
other
just
than
mixed
that.
stuff.
Yeah, it's just literally you just take a bunch of crap, grind it up, and there you go.
And throw it in. So the number that I personally want to aim for is 2. I want to look for things that are HDPE that I know. So here's the next thing.
Milk,
go ahead.
Milk jugs, soap containers. Well, like Dawn, I see over there is clear, so it's not.
Yeah.
There. As far as I've ever known, there is 0 completely clear HDPE. I don't believe that you possibly can get clear HDPE.
Like milk jugs are kind of
that opaque,
milky white.
Almost anything opaque is HDPE. Most of your colored plastics, like a non-see-through, a non-opaque color, is HDPE. Almost 99% of the time.
So like laundry detergent.
Like this, sorry. Like this, you can't really on the camera, but you can kind of see through it.
There. See,
there
that's the supplement.
You can kind of see through it.
Yeah.
It's not. It's 5 pp. But almost anything with colors. So I mean, you got your milk jugs and your laundry detergent, and
so like the yellow laundry detergents or Tides that are red. Those are all HDPE. Right.
Guaranteed on those. It's any bright color, especially, it's guaranteed it's HDPE. It doesn't have to be, I don't think, but it is, because it is the most cost effective to color.
Yeah.
So
when you're looking at food storage, so the reason I'm concerned about plastics, okay, now, especially learning a bunch of stuff, is so with dog food, this isn't dog food, this is a supplement, but if this is dog food has oils in it. It has fats, right? So when it sits against this plastic, if the plastic has, what did you call it? Like the pores are basically open. The fats leaches the plastic, the toxins out of the plastic into the food. And I will say, I will tell a small.
If you ever have opened something like this without anything in it, like new at the store, and it stinks, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Which is most everything you
buy.
But
HDPE doesn't.
HDPE, it has like a kind of its own little, but it's not a bad smell.
Yeah.
That I don't know quite how to describe it. I don't know that but I know some plastic just does, depending on where it comes from.
And this is
that's like a bad, like, you can tell, it's an odor.
For you dog people, right, and this is a little bit off topic, well, not really, but it is have you ever smelled a Kong? A brand new Kong, and it has that weird smell? It's why I do not use Kongs, because I emailed the Kong company, and they told me, and from multiple people who've done research, including Jimmy, who's done a bunch of research into that sort of stuff, that smell, what it is it's just, it's miscellaneous pieces of rubber that they melt together or plastic, I'm sorry, and mold into the Kongs. I absolutely do not use Kongs. I use Westpaw, they don't use that.
There's nothing scientific behind it. I'm just mentioning it. 99% of the time, and it's nothing bad, I'm just mentioning, 99% of the time, anything made in actual China usually has this very distinct, odd odor. Nothing against them, I'm not saying that, but usually, mainly when it comes to plastic like this, something about the plastic they use is very, I call it miscellaneous. It's very, like, who knows where it comes from.
Yeah.
For some reason, even other countries in the area, like Japan, Vietnam, all those sort of, you don't get that same, it's very distinct in power tools. You take a power tool apart that's made in China, has a very distinct, very odd odor.
Yeah.
That does not from other places. Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Yeah. It's same thing with just normal, like Ziploc, things that are made there. I don't know. It's something they use. I don't know.
So I will tell a small story that when I was trying to figure out, like, a lot of Wally was extremely picky when he was eating for a long time. And learning more about food storage and what I was storing my food in, I 100% believe. Because he would eat like a maniac for the first, couple weeks. And then towards the end of my food, he quit eating. Like, to the point I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to switch food again. Or I have to do this. Or I have to do that. Or he's always bored. But now that I'm, very vigilant about what I put my food in, and I make sure to go through it fast enough that it doesn't go rancid, he isn't picky at all. He eats all his food, and he's fine. So go ahead.
Well, I'll just say, like, a good visual, or I guess you call it a visualization, is like HDPE melts. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's right around, you can get it to melt right around 175 degrees, like in an oven. It takes longer, you can heat it up more to go faster, but it'll start melting at like 150, 175 degrees. And it's completely safe to do it in your house. There is no residual chemical that comes out of it, or smell, or anything like that. Nothing. And I have never done it because I have done a lot of research, and it basically says you need to wear a gas mask. I was going to try and be frugal and like melt down like pop bottles and stuff and make some plastic things out of it. And it's basically you have to do it at its exact temperature, and you have to make sure and wear a mask and all these things because there's so many chemicals that leach out of it. And like if it happens to burn a little bit or something, the smoke can like make you pass out, and like it's not good.
Yeah.
So just that right there, there's obviously stuff in that plastic that's not good for you. It's probably going to leach out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, look at all your food containers. So, like this, I bought this thinking I was a good dog owner for my
That's a big prop.
Honest Kitchen. I gotta move my succulent leaves. So, I bought this for my Honest Kitchen. So, it's all my dehydrated, right? It's got a handle. It's so cute.
Sorry, there. Little handle.
Little handle. It's adorable. And which one was this? What number is this?
I believe that's a 5.
Right?
Oh, look.
It's not food safe. It's not food grade.
Yep, 5.
So I used to, when I rotated food, I put my Honest Kitchen here. This food would sometimes sit in here.
What do you mean you used to? There's currently Honest
Well,
Kitchen.
I know. I'm going to talk about that. Would sit in here for like 3 weeks or more. Now, I haven't been using this container. I just put this food in because this is what I'm going to feed for this week. And
I'm going to show them something. Go ahead, keep talking.
It's what I'm going to feed for this week, and it will be gone within the week. So my dogs go through a box of Honest Kitchen a week, so this will be gone.
I don't know if you can see that. The lid's not as bad as the sides here, but on the lid, if you can see, there's like little scratches.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how well you can see it.
There's little scratches in it from
the cup.
From this, like scratching the sides. And it is scratching little, like, micro pieces of it, and it's allowing things to get past this outer layer. And, yeah, it's not good. You need to get your stuff out of it.
I thought I was doing good by feeding it.
Again, I am not a scientist or anything, so don't take me like that, but, I mean, like I said, I've learned
I'm going
to
be throwing that away, or go recycle it, or do something with it.
This is your new one.
Yeah, so this is my new one, and it looks awful. I
don't know if we can do that. This is like promoting a company.
Um,
we are not sponsored by these people.
We are not sponsored by Ace.
Oh, it's over here. And this is just a plain white one.
It's a 5-gallon bucket, you guys, and I understand that looks bad.
I'm sure everybody's had these. It's got a Gamma Seal lid, or you can get a Gamma Seal lid for them.
You can just spin the top off. Gamma Seal lid.
So what it is it just this ring right here
pops on.
Wait, come over there. This lid right here just snaps on the top of a normal bucket.
Yep.
Any 5-gallon bucket, and then it's a Gamma Seal lid that screws into
that. And
even
on the lid it says number 2. It's got the circle and the number 2 on the lid. But this is 100%.
But if you look on the bottom of the bucket, oh look, we can read that one for sure.
That one's really big.
See that one right?
Nope. Other way. Number 2.
You see it?
Not really. I think they got the idea.
Oh look, there. 2 HDPE.
So I do pour my Honest Kitchen, the kibble, I pour that into it. And now what I'm going to start doing, I'm actually going to get a smaller one. Like this is
they make like 2.5 gallon ones.
Yeah, so I'm going to do like a 2.5 gallon bucket, and that's what I'm going to put my dehydrated in. So now I know the first question is going to be, what about, I don't want to say any names, so I'm sure you guys will figure it out. There is a pet food storage that it is white. It is like that, and it's got the same swing lid. It's called a Vault.
Oh yeah, I've seen. Yeah, we had one of those for a while, didn't we?
Yes, and so they are. So I went to their website because I don't own one. So I went and looked on their website. Now they have lots of different kinds. You have to sit and go through every single container. Because some of their containers were not HDPE and some were.
Did they have like different colors and things?
Yes. Yeah. So the ones that were colored, or the kind of they were kind of an off-white, but they were still a not see-through white. Those ones were HDPE. I personally, I'm just going to go get, like I say, a 2.5 gallon bucket to put my dehydrated in, and I will use that for my kibble. It was like, what, $5 for that bucket?
Not even that. It was like $3.
Yeah, and the lid...
The lid was almost as much as the bucket.
Yeah.
But...
So... I'm just going to do that, personally. It's worth it. So,
it's kind of like having hats. We'll just endorse the bucket people we like.
Endorse the bucket people.
Like D&B Supply here locally has, like, cool. They have, like, pink and orange and green. And...
Yeah, and so, like, Herbsmith, they put all of their supplements in
it's not
HDPE.
It's very, very much
it's
colored.
White,
it's not see-through.
Can't see through it. So, like, if you open it up, I mean, you can't, right? And there's the little nuggets. It says number 2 right on the bottom, right? So in that, like, these are different supplements. This one is a number 1, right? And it's a little bit, and it's opaque.
Again, I'm not like a scientist, but I really think something like this isn't as big of a deal.
No,
because it's just like a pop bottle. To me, I'm sure there's things that probably aren't good.
Yep.
Again, I'm not a scientist, but for the most part, this is not being disturbed other than these pills in here. Yeah. And if you don't let it sit out in the heat, in the sun, in your car, things like that, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. So,
But if you were to, like, take this and set it outside for a few days in 100-degree heat, I would be pretty worried.
That's where, like, pop bottles, I don't know how many of you guys drink soda or pop, but if you have that pop bottle or water bottles, really bad to have them sit out in the sun. Like, that was taught to me a long time ago. If you have your water bottle sitting out in the sun and then you drink it, like, it's leaching.
Don't carry your dog's water in the back of your truck for more than a few days.
No, like, it leaches. Really if it's in a clear bucket,
starts getting all
it
nasty. It
absorbs the chemicals. So whether you yourself or your dog, water is just as important as to what the container is. Like, this supplement worries me a little bit because it's green lip mussel, which that in itself is a little bit of a fatty supplement. So it worries me a little bit that it's not in a very good plastic. So a part of me wants to take this out and put it into a better plastic. But, like, this is my Ziploc. It's a number 5, and, like, I don't.
That's what I mean. I think number 5. I don't know exactly how they make it that way.
Yeah.
But it is. I believe they consider it food grade, but I don't think it's naturally food grade like HDPE.
This one absolutely terrifies me.
Yeah.
I literally had no idea it was a number 7 until we sat down. The reason I grabbed it was because I'm like, oh, look at this food grade thing. It's human. You should buy human containers to put all your dog stuff in because I'm sure this is fine.
In all honesty, this was probably like a dollar store version, and that's probably why. If you go buy you go to a kitchen store, I bet if you look, it's probably 5. I would bet it's like this. Yeah. So most likely, but I would definitely
be aware of what you're putting your dog's food in. Same with salmon oil, fish oils. A lot of companies put, and I didn't know that. Didn't think about it. Is you're putting a literal fatty oil inside a bottle, and I don't have any salmon oil bottles on hand to show you, but I've always wondered about it because sometimes why I quit feeding salmon oil for a while is because I kept getting weird bottles. They were in plastic bottles. So, like, sometimes I would give it to my dogs and they would not eat the food and the salmon smelled funny. Right? So I found a company and they reached out to me. I found a company that puts all their salmon oil, and I'm getting a new shipment of it on Tuesday, and I can post it. All their oils are in an aluminum bottle, and then inside is food grade resin coated. So the oils cannot leach any metal into it. This is resin.
This is not the same resin.
No.
This is my casting resin, but and I don't believe this particular brand is food safe. I don't think so. But it's 2-part resin is what they put on the inside.
On the inside of the bottles,
and even this is opaque, by the way.
Yeah.
If you see how it's kind of opaque like a milk jug, it's HDPE.
Yeah.
So I get to make stuff out of the resin, clean the bottles out, and then I can melt them down and make new things with them.
So, like, with the salmon oil, pay attention to your salmon oil as well. Like, to me, that's a huge one. Any sort of fatty thing that can get rancid. So, my salmon oil now, the only fish oils I rotate between the salmon oil and their sardine oil, comes out of, it's like I said, it's an aluminum bottle that's resin coated so the oil cannot leach or eat. And I have been using that now for like 6 months, and I've never gotten a weird bottle. And I will say other brands, especially once I've used it and I get a big bottle and it's about halfway to 3/4 done, it starts smelling funny. and looking back, it always had a weird plasty smell, like a funky smell. And I'm sure not all salmon oil, if you look at the bottles, and maybe they're all white bottles, you know, and they could be HDPE. Like I said, I don't have any on me to take a look at. But be aware, when you go to buy them, like, turn over all your bottles and look at it.
Plastic's a little scary.
Yeah, and decide,
we need to go back to mason jars.
Right? I love mason jars. So, like this, like, I'm trying to decide, this is brand new. I'm trying to decide if I want to open it and put it into a safer container. Right? And I use tons of mason jars and glass jars, and I'll be using the HDPE buckets. I really think it's something that we as dog owners need to be more aware of. And especially, like Jimmy just brought up about that, my dog food container, my icky one, the box with the dehydrated, where it's getting scratches and it's leaching. Mm-hmm. So now I have to go get rid of it. I was thinking I was doing better by saying, oh, I put it in there, but I'm going to feed it within the week. And I really, as soon as I put it in there you go. Right?
I'm not saying it's killing your dog.
No, but it's something to be aware of, especially if you've got dogs that just quit eating. You don't know why, right? Or one time,
I would definitely start looking.
I would start looking at your container. If you've got a dog that is eating just fine, and then all of a sudden they're like, I don't really like it anymore, or they're picky eaters.
I don't want it.
It's a fish oil supplement. That's the last of it, never to be used again.
Okay.
And that container is getting tossed.
That's good.
So just be aware. Like I especially start looking at it.
Fish oil.
If you have a dog who keeps turning off their food or is picky.
They don't even tell you what the lid is.
The lid? Oh, God, that is stinky. Put it back.
It's like...
I don't like that
ultimate
supplement.
sketch, and they don't even tell you what the lid's made out of.
So hopefully this was helpful for everyone. Hopefully you kind of...
Like I said, don't
we
think
are
anything...
not experts.
Yeah, I don't...
We are not...
Some of the things, like I was saying, how, like, the 5 pp... I don't believe it is naturally food grade. I think they have to do a process to it. But I don't know
Google.
for 100%. Yeah, do your own research.
Do your own research. Take what we say, research it further. I am just going with 2 because I know that's food grade. And if you go and look at all the restaurants, their containers are all 2s. Like if I went and bought restaurant containers, they're all 2s. I'm just going to go with that because since I've been paying more attention, Wally has not been so weird.
All chemicals, like technically this isn't really a toxic one, but this is a chemical. I mean, because it's a 2-part resin. All of your big chemical barrels, your big 55-gallon blue barrels, that you see, they're all HDPE. All of your toxic waste barrels, if they're not metal, they're HDPE. Basically, any big 55-gallon barrel, whether it's for chemicals or food or whatever, is all HDPE. I mean, it doesn't take much to realize that HDPE is the way you
I personally want to
always
be going. I want to go with 2. So... That's where I'm at. So do your own research, ask questions, ask your dog food, like if you have a container, a dog food container, research it, look up things, always do your own research. That's what I did. I watched a little bit from Karen Becker and then I went out and did my own research and came up with my own stuff. So like I said, Jimmy and I are not experts, so be sure to do your own research. Thank you guys for watching and hopefully this was helpful.